Well, hey there. How are you? I am so glad to have y'all with me today. Let me see if I can get this. Oh, we're getting better with the technology. Yay me. So just want to say thanks to everybody who has written in with questions and comments, and those of you who have asked for some one-on-one time. I am glad this is helpful for so many of you. And again, I want to just remind y'all that I don't have all the answers. I just have what I think are some good ones. And if you have ideas for topics, or if you want to add in the comments section of any of these videos, your ideas on how you handle things, deal with things, resources, links, books you've read, whatever, please feel free to do that. That's just helpful for all of us. And today, I'm going to go ahead and get us started. We are going to be talking about how to retake your personal power in regard to, here we go, in regard to your purpose. And that's such a nebulous thing. And when we get to it, I think I've laid out a pretty clear path for how to get from point A to point B. I want to start with, of course, I'm not a doctor, psychologist, psychiatrist, any sort of a licensed or certified therapist or anything like that. So if you're under the care of such a person, I want you to continue doing what they direct you to do. I am nothing more than a coach, an advisor, a life coach, and the school of hard knocks kind of thing. And so it's important that you continue with any regimen of medication or therapy that you have, and weave this in. And before you change anything important in your life, please check with your professional who cares for you. So today we're going to talk about what's your purpose, and a little housekeeping is please continue to share these with your friends. It's also on YouTube. I have a channel on YouTube. You can just search by my name and you can find it. So please share that information that people can either watch on YouTube or they can watch here on Facebook. And that's helpful. I feel led to do this, whether there's one person watching or 1,000 people. I'm going to keep doing this. There's 12 parts of the series, and we're on number 5, so we're almost halfway. But today is about what's your purpose, and the gist of it is, what's the point? Why does it matter? I want to tell you what I've discovered is a lot of times we get up and we are, get up, go to work, engage in the to-dos that we feel so compelled to do. We've been told that, this is how we're supposed to live. So you get up, we go to work, we think that we have accomplished something wonderful, but there's this little part of us that is dead, dying, silent, unfed, unfueled, unhappy. And we end up blaming it on a lot of things. We blame it on our marriage. We blame it on our job. We blame it on our weight, whatever. We pick something, and that's why I'm not happy. But for me, what I discovered is at one point in my life, I was not happy with my life because I felt as if I had no purpose. And because of that, I felt like my marriage was a mess. I was a mess. My job was a mess. And it turns out, in hindsight, of course, none of those things were true. What was really the truth was that I was not living my purpose. Now, it may seem a little crazy, but you can have a job you may not care for and still be doing in your life the thing that is your purpose. Purpose is a bit of a convoluted thing. I think that sometimes we think that our job has to align 100% with our purpose. And it will be nice if that happens, and maybe it will happen one day. But our purpose, in my opinion, our purpose is, who am I? Why am I here? And what am I supposed to be doing? And I can still fulfill my purpose in a job that doesn't seem closely aligned with it. And I'll explain that to you later. And so I think purpose gives us meaning. It gives our life meaning. It gives us a broader umbrella that overlies everything that we do. For me, my purpose is to help people retake their lives, retake their personal power, come into their power, and to realize that power isn't the bullying thing. It's not loud. It's not aggressive. It's powerful is your control over your damn self. And that's my purpose. And I can technically accomplish that just about anywhere. But it gives me a focus. I have to live my purpose by living in my power and discovering how I can be more powerful and show other people how they can be powerful. It gives me a focus in everything I do, choices that I make, how I spend my money, all of it. It also fulfills my reason for being here. And I think one of the reasons we feel dead and empty inside is that we agreed to come back in this life to do something. And if we don't connect with our purpose, there's that lost sense of, why am I here? My life doesn't matter. So what? Who cares? We're each of us here for a reason. And I think it can get sneaky when people may lead you to believe that your purpose needs to be something huge. You need to climb a mountain or speak in front of people or write a book or whatever. And it's entirely possible that your purpose is to care for your family. Your purpose may be to be a positive influence on people and help them learn to be positive. Your purpose may be to be a good boss. Your purpose doesn't always have to be this loud, flashy thing. Now, why do I think it's important that you find your purpose? Well, I don't know. Mental health is kind of a good reason. I also think that it's a really good reason, finding your purpose and living your purpose, literally so much research will support. And I'm going to look over here so that I can tell it to you truthfully. There is research that supports that finding your purpose actually makes you more healthy. Research, people with the strongest sense of purpose were the most, had the 30% more likely to live longer than people who felt like they didn't have a purpose. They're also more successful in terms of their work and their life. And I think you can tie that back to, and when I say successful, I think sometimes we measure it the wrong way. Do you have a big job with a big title? I know too many people with big jobs and big titles who are miserable. So we've got to measure things differently. Your purpose will improve your health because you have a sense of satisfaction and you're going to care for yourself so that you can fulfill your purpose. And it does impact your longevity because you have a reason to get up. You have a reason to do things. You have something to look forward to. It is no secret that people who have something to live for live longer. And your purpose is one of those things for which you live for. So how does it help you retake your personal power? I will only be able to share with you my personal experience because I don't want to speak for anybody else. But if you don't have a purpose, you are filling somebody else's purpose. You're fulfilling their purpose. You're helping them live their life. And I don't think that's why we're here. And I think that's why we can become unhappy, even though our life seems great. We may have what seems to be the best relationships, the best job, the best things, the collection. I've got a great collection of things, and so I should be happy. I'm pretty and skinny and rich and powerful, but I am miserable. And that may be because you don't have your purpose, which gives you part of your power. And when I'm talking about our personal power, I want to be super clear that this is not about flexing your muscles to other people. This is about you living in your own space 100%. 100% of you living, settling back into yourself and your life, your reason for being here, what you're going to do in the world. That's this week's part of retaking your personal power. So what keeps you from finding your purpose? Well, for a while, I felt like the world's problems were too big. You may think, oh, I think I know what my purpose is, but gosh, the world is such a mess. I can't make a difference. I think we need to stop trying to change the world, and we need to change ourselves. If each of us focused on changing ourselves, we will change the world. And so we're starting at the wrong end of the equation by trying to change the world. We think we're too small to change the world, but you are everything you need. You're not too small, too little, too dumb, too untalented. You're not too little of anything. You are perfectly made. The one infinite creator knew what he was doing. You agreed to come to this life, this world in this way. You are everything you need to be. Everything you need to do is laid out in front of you. We do get exhausted. We do get exhausted. And I will tell you, those of you who know me, I get really tired of living my purpose. Life, trying to get people to change their thinking, it seems simple. All you have to do is change your mind, right? But we get ingrained in thinking. And even with my coaching clients, they want their life to change, but they don't want to actually change things. Or the world is difficult. Politics have made the world crazy. We're in the middle of a pandemic as I'm recording this. Life seems too exhausting. How can I live my purpose in such a crazy world? You can. It may be this moment for which you are here. And the other thing is, we worry about what other people will say. I want to give you a really clear example. Two, actually. The universe led me to make quilting, which I had done privately for years, part of my public life, where I quilt for others, I make and sell quilts, I repair quilts. I fought that tooth and nail because I could not see how that fit into my purpose. My purpose is at this other end. But in reality, it gives me the opportunity to meet and talk with people and to share with them my other thoughts, and then they get the opportunity to share their thoughts with me, and it ends up actually being this supportive session. We talk about life, we talk about other things, and so I worried about, what are people going to think? I've been doing this global consulting for these great big companies and getting paid ridiculous amounts of money to do that, and here I am, making quilts. Are people going to think my brain is melting or whatever? And I worried about that for the longest time, but I had sign after sign after sign that I should have been doing quilting, that I'm making quilts and giving them to charity, that I'm bringing life back to quilts in people's lives, and we're talking about purpose and meaning and family. And I fought it because I was worried about what people would say. The second story I would share with you is, as I've done my spiritual training these last 90 days, I began to learn how to do angel card readings, channeling messages from the universe to people who want them. That was a real stretch for me. I was extremely worried about what people would think or say about me, Miss Practical, Miss Pragmatic, Miss Logical Thinker, a very cerebral coaching style, getting into all the spiritual stuff. And so I resisted it for a while, but it's part of my purpose. And now that I'm doing it, I'm so grateful. But I was worried about what people would think. So these four things are the biggest things that keep us, the biggest characteristics that keep us from jumping in and doing what we're supposed to do. And I want you to look at this list. It is fear. Fear, the world's problems are too big. I feel like I'm not enough. I'm too small. Oh, I fear that I'm not good enough. I'm exhausted from life. I fear that it's going to take too much for me to do this. I worry about what other people would say. I fear. There's just fear. And so we can't live in fear. Finding our purpose is so fulfilling. I can only tell you, now that I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I feel like crying some days. It's so glorious, and it will be that way for you too. So here's two things that I believe. As you look to find your purpose, if you don't take control of your destiny, everyone else will. Everyone else has got something they want you to do, something they think that you need to do for them. It may or may not have to do with your purpose. And if it doesn't, you don't know to say no because you don't have your purpose. But finding your purpose will give you boundaries, better boundaries. The other thing is it's easy to say it's too late, I'm too old. I mean, I'm not enough, I don't know enough, blah, 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 blah. I can only tell you it's never too late to become the person you might have been. And yes, there's exceptions. You know, it's too late for me to become a ballerina, right? Or, you know, a professional horseback rider. I don't even know how to ride horses. I mean, I get it. But the universe is not going to lead you somewhere that you will not be able to fulfill your purpose. So take control of your destiny, or everyone else will. And it's never too late to become the person you might have been. So these are all the foundations for the work. So let's get into the work. You need to know that your purpose may change over time. The manifestation of your purpose may change over time. I have for 20 years been working to find my purpose, and it has evolved. My purpose has always been to help people change their thinking, to transform their lives, to become that for which they were created. It has manifested itself differently over time, always through coaching and training, but differently. Your purpose may stay the same, but the manifestation of that purpose may change over time, depending on your location, who needs you, your personal physical health, your personal mental health. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into play, but your purpose will stay the same, but the manifestation of that may change. And so sometimes we get locked into, I must do this. Well, what's the purpose, not the manifestation, okay? Your purpose usually doesn't change. How you live your purpose may change. I am living my purpose now almost 100% virtually, with the exception of the quilts. That I can tell you that isn't how I expected my purpose to manifest, but that's how it is. All right, there are basically for me 6 steps, and these are the first 3. So the first one is, what drives you? What pain touches you so deeply? You want to cry with somebody, and if it's a lot of things, winnow it down. What injustice? What moves you? What is it that happens in the world? For me, it is when people feel like they're not enough, when people feel lost, when people feel beaten down, that they don't know, why am I here? What am I doing? That drives me. We should not live like that. We don't have to live like that. What drives you? The second thing is, what energizes you? When you participate in an activity, or you volunteer, or you're doing something, what is it that gives you joy? What is it that fills your heart? For me, it's that aha moment when I'm teaching a workshop, when I'm conducting something, when I'm doing individual coaching, when I'm doing these, and y'all are like, oh my gosh, what a great idea. That fuels me, that energizes me. And then the third thing is, what feeds your soul? What do you believe? If you just got quiet for a minute, turn off all the noise, and just silently think about, what is it that I am here for? Ask your angels and your spirit guides, God, why am I here? What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Help me know. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Because, there are opportunities that will keep presenting themselves, and you'll be like, no, I can't do that. I'm not, that's not me. And then these opportunities keep presenting themselves, and that's the universe's way of trying to get your attention. I kept getting all these quilts, and I'm like, why are all these people coming to me for quilts? I know now, because that's part of my purpose. And we have to surrender to that. We have to acknowledge, I don't understand all the time. I mean, I'm still not quite clear on why quilting is one of the things the universe wants me to do. But you know what? I love it. I love quilting. okay, so I guess that's part of what I'm supposed to be doing. The next three things is who do you want to help? What kind of person do you want to help? Is there an age group? Do you like children? Kids are not my thing. But some of you are built to care for children, to work with children, to interact with children. I love working with adults, partly because I was 40 before I was able to realize that it wasn't too late to change my life. Where do these people live? What do they need? Start thinking about who is it that you want to help. And the second thing is how are you going to help them? As I said, the manifestation of your purpose is going to change over time. In the beginning, I thought I was supposed to help people with their businesses. I was to help small businesses change their thinking about how to run their business. And after a while, it became more personal. It became more how they lived their life, which would then overflow into how they ran their businesses. And what is it that you do? Everything that I know how to do does not come into play when I'm fulfilling my purpose. So what is it that you can specifically do for them? I don't like numbers. I don't like working with numbers. And so that's not something that is part of my purpose that I have to do to help people, even when I'm working in the corporate world. So, sometimes the fact that we can do something doesn't mean that that's something we have to do as part of our purpose. But as we think about all this, a package of your purpose will begin to emerge. And then finally, where do you need to be to help them? I want to give you a story, and I don't think she'll mind me sharing. I have a friend named Kim, and Kim and her mom, Kimberly and her mom were very close, and her mom died, and Kimberly was trying to figure out what to do with her life. And she's an adult, she's in her 40s. And she knew that one of the things she wanted to do with her life was to volunteer to care for animals, but not like at a animal shelter, but more like a farm shelter, a farm refuge. She sold her house and moved to Missouri to be near a farm rescue, because that was her purpose, was to work and volunteer with those animals. And she took a huge leap of faith. She found a job. She moved. She loves it there. Coronavirus, of course, came and they had to shut it down. So it's not exactly the same circumstances, but she is able to still visit some of these animal refuges and work with them. That she had to totally move to fulfill what she believed was her purpose. So where do you need to be? Do you need to shift to another part of the country or the town, or change jobs? And I mean, sometimes we get so attached to a lifestyle, but we're unhappy because we have to have this job to support this lifestyle, when our purpose might require us to live a little bit lesser lifestyle. Think about what keeps showing up in your life that gives you joy, that may not be your job. And so as I talk about, we're supporting our lifestyle, but not living our purpose. Let's talk about this. I want you to think about, what are you willing to sacrifice for your purpose? Are you willing to give up time to begin to learn how to do more of what is your purpose? For me, I had to relearn some quilting techniques. I had to learn how to read angel cards. What kind of energy are you willing to invest or sacrifice? What kind of sleep are you willing to lose, or what kind of emotional energy are you willing to invest? What kind of resources are you willing to set? Are you willing to give up your lifestyle so that you can live your purpose and find your happiness and joy? Are you willing to give up social media so that you have more time? Are you willing to give up, what are you willing to sacrifice for your purpose? If you are not willing to sacrifice something for what you think is your purpose, then I would challenge you that maybe that's not your purpose. That's what you think you ought to be doing. But when you come to your purpose, for me, I came to the point where I was willing to sacrifice things to fulfill my purpose. So think about that for you. What's true for you? And then here's a test. I call it the passion test. I want you to think about when is your life perfect? When do you feel that you are exactly in your zone? Is it when you're working with groups of people or when you're working one-on-one? My purpose has changed. I used to adore working with groups, big groups. And now I'm finding that I do enjoy working with individuals. I enjoy working with companies as well. I like to speak in public. I like to be creative. These may not apply for you. You may not like working with groups and you like only working with individuals. You may not like working with individuals, but you really like working with companies. When is your life ideal? What is it that you are doing? What is this? And so this passion will lead you to your purpose and how to manifest your purpose. And so finally, before we go to the Q&A, I want you to think about alignment. So here's something interesting. For me, I knew that my purpose in life was to help people retake their personal power. And that is crystallized for me, particularly in the last 8 months, that we give up so much personal power. And we think that it's because of someone else we're not happy or fulfilled or able to do or be or whatever we want. And the reality is because we've given it all up. And so I want to say to you that alignment is part of the key. Once I realized what my purpose was, then I'm able to align my time to help people retake their personal power. I'm able to align my talents that I will speak or train or provide information that helps people retake their personal power. My treasure, which for me is time right now, billable hours that I give up for free, is me giving my treasure to help people help me align with my purpose of helping people retake their personal power. What is it going to look like for you? What is your purpose? What direction do you feel led? And how will the choices you make every day begin to align with your purpose? So what I want to do now is I'm going to switch over to the full screen and we're going to do Q&A. And I want to say hi to everybody that's in the group right now. I know I missed a few. I know Trish was with us, Natalie, Suzanne, Deepa. Hello, Deepa. I know we need to connect. Yes, and Suzanne makes some good points, purpose versus hobby. And so I want to just say thanks to everybody who's here today. Please be sure that you share this out with folks so that anybody who may benefit from it gets to see it. And so let me switch from this screen to this screen, and then I'm going to go to the room and see if anybody has any questions, if you have any comments, anything that you want to do. So, all right, definitely, Deepa. We will get to that, I promise. So, anybody have any questions, any problem solving, any challenges that you've run into, any ideas that you want to share? We are certainly open to that. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes, and then if we don't have anything, we're going to move on. I will tell you some great resources are to read books. Look for books that are about what you're interested in. I get inspired when I pick up a quilting book. I get inspired when I pick up a self-help book on changing your life. I get inspired when I pick up a book on spirituality. These are how I know that those things are meaningful to me. So how do you know what's meaningful to you? Do you know? If you had to do something and not get paid for it, what would that be? If you were able to do that. And then my question to you is, how can you make that happen? And how can you find a job, if possible, where you get paid to do that? Or get into a circumstance where you work a job, but you're able to volunteer doing the thing that you think fulfills your purpose. So Suzanne asked a question of, can one's purpose be subsumed by caring for another person? I'm going to say consumed, maybe. In other words, can it be part of the purpose? Oh, I see. Yes, I would say that it is possible that your purpose can feel swallowed up when you're in a circumstance, but you are still fulfilling your purpose, or it's part of your ability to fulfill your purpose later. By way of example, my purpose is to help people transform, change their lives, retake their personal power. Some of the circumstances of which I have been entrenched and I felt like I wasn't able to fulfill my purpose were actually things that taught me skills and habits, and I couldn't make up some of the stuff that I've been through that I was able to share with other people. So, and I happen to know what Suzanne's going through right now is very difficult, can be called horrific, I think, in some ways, very difficult circumstance. And that is inevitable. It's a part of life. It's a circle of life. But it also is, I think, part of your being able to fulfill your purpose later. So yes, I would say sometimes the path we have to take doesn't feel like it's part of our purpose, but the reality is that it helps us fulfill our purpose. Yes. I don't see any other questions, and so I'm not going to belabor, but I just want to say thank you to all of you who are participating in this, and all of your feedback and all of your questions. And again, my goal is to just help you retake your personal power so that you can live life fully and completely and be settled into your own purpose and power. So thank you to everybody who's on the video thing. Also, I want to tell you, I'm thinking about going to Zoom meetings where we would actually meet in a Zoom room. It's a bit more intimate. We can actually share more. I'm going to process that, how that would work, but I will let you know. Anyway, just want to thank you for being here today, and remind you that you have been zinced.